everyone, it's Alf from Alf's Little Craftery. Thank you for joining me today. I thought I would make some altered playing cards. Now, that's nothing new. There's plenty of people out there doing altered playing cards. What I have noticed though is that I haven't seen anyone do them the way that I came up with these. And it may be out there somewhere, but certainly I haven't found it. I've seen people do stickers on them and I've seen people do tea bags on them, but this is something a little bit different. So what I've done to create these is I used some tissue paper like this, and I stamped the tissue paper. And what I can say though is that through trial and error, I think that you need to stamp them very faintly, not as dark as these are. So I'm going to try doing some. What I've done here is I've done the stamps and somewhere else, and then I just did like what was left of the stamps on here, just to try something a little bit different. And what I've used is the Memento ink. Now it does say here that it is water resistant on the back. And I think in hindsight it would look really good if you could get some brown or something like that to have a vintage feel to the Memento ink, to the ink as well, rather than just the black. But I have to be honest, the ones I really like are something like this one, where you can just see a little bit of writing here. And yeah, I mean, look, it's individual style. These are great to use as journaling cards as well. So what I have put on the back is coffee stained paper. So they're quite solid. And I think they look pretty cute. So I thought I might share with you how I did them and see if you're inspired to do something similar. So I'm only going to make a couple today with you. So what I might do is just use one of these. I thought these are good. Now, the only other thing I would suggest is that you choose cards that have as much white space as possible. These are just standard playing cards. I just got them in a pack. They look like this. And yeah, that's all they are. Now, the only thing with these is they're shiny. They're shiny on the front. You can see that. And shiny on the back. And so what you want to do is get rid of the shine. So how I've done the tissue paper, how I stuck it on, is I use some of this school glue, and I use 2/3 of this and 1/3 water, and I've just mixed it into a container like this and used a paintbrush. So using a paintbrush, you just paint it on, and I'll just get something to protect the surface here. Just use some tissue, some kitchen towel here. What I might do first is just cut some smaller, just to I think I'll use this really faint piece here for one of them. Just a bit easier to work with when you've got smaller bits of paper, I noticed. And I will use something from here, just maybe some of the musical notes, if you can see those there. Something like that would be good, I think. And again, I've just randomly stamped in different areas and just thought, yeah, why not? Doesn't matter. I wasn't really being very strategic about what I was doing. All right, so what I might do is, now the other thing is you just sort of check what might look good. So I think that's going to look pretty good, but what I might do is get it off to the side or something so it's not exactly uniform. So this is what you'll see when it's done. You can also do it on an angle, but I think I'll do it straight on. And the other one, I can use just the black here. And again, just work with it and play with it and see what you get. So that's going to look quite good, I think. So let's have a go at this. So now what you need to do is make sure that you put a lot of glue, well, not too much because then it will get a bit soggy, but you just put enough glue to cover the whole card. You can see I've been inking. My hands got ink all over them. So there we go. So this was going to be this one, wasn't it? So I think that's going to look good there. And then smooth it out as much as you can. Now the edges might come up a little bit, and that's okay if they do. I just use some Yoo-Hoo glue later on. But then I just put another layer over the top just to give it a little bit of extra seal, I guess. So there we go. So that's the first one done, and already you can sort of see how that's going to look, and it's quite cool, I think. And then the second one, like I said, I'm only going to do 2 with you. I don't want to overdo it. You'll get bored watching me do too many, I think. So there we go, second one done. And I'm just going to put this off, as I said, a bit more. But I'm going to make sure it's all covered because I don't want any of the shine to come through at all. So that's about there. There we go. And again, smooth it out as much as you can. And put some glue over the top. Okay, so there we go. Normally I use baking paper on the back. I just didn't have any on hand right this minute. So that's why I'm using the kitchen towel, but the kitchen towel might actually get some stuck on. Okay, so now we've got the basis for the cards, and what I would normally do is probably wait for them to dry a little bit, and then I'll stick them on to some coffee stained paper. This is some coffee stained paper that I've made. You can see how I made it in another video. But what I'll do is just get this done quickly to show you. So the next thing you need to do is, and this is going to stick to there, I think, so I'll see how we go. Let's see. Get some Yoo-Hoo glue, and so the other glue is for the front of the card, but then you need to use some Yoo-Hoo glue on the back, and you just put it all over the back and make sure you get it everywhere, right to the edges. And then you just stick it down on top of the coffee paper. Now, like I said, normally you do need to wait for this front bit to dry. I'm just trying to speed it up for you here. And then you press it down. What I will do is grab some, I will get some baking paper so that it's not going to stick on the back. So what I did find is that also by using the baking paper that I used before to stain coffee, some of the coffee stains actually came up onto the cards, which looked really good. So here you can see there's a few coffee stains on this one. So it looks, just gives it a little bit more of that vintage feel without really having to do much. Okay, and now this one's picked up a bit as well, as you can see there. So that's good. All right. So that's the first one done. And now I'll do the same with the second one. And I'm just going to put some Yoo-Hoo glue on it, on the back. Oops. Oh no, that's come right off. Okay. See, this is why it's good for you to watch me do this, because then I can make all the mistakes and then you don't have to. Alright, so we'll stick that one back on in a minute. Okay, we can fix it. It's okay. There we go. See? Problem solved. Okay. Alright, I really better let this dry now. Alright, so what I'm going to do is just press this down. You can use a bone folder, or you can just use any hard surface that you've got with you. And there we go, and that should work nicely. And I'm going to leave this now and let it dry for about an hour or so, and then I'll come back and show you what it looked like. Okay, so we've just let this dry a little bit and we're back, and it's definitely a lot drier than it was before. And now what I'm going to do is just cut these down, and it's really easy to cut them because you can actually feel where they are with the cards and the tracing paper, so you can see straight away where they are. And you can feel the edges. You can use a corner rounder if you want, or just cut around the edges. It's entirely up to you. Now here I've got a bit of an edge, so I'm just going to cut that down. There it is. The good thing is, if the edges are a little bit uneven, don't worry about it, because the Distress ink is so forgiving. It fixes everything, as you'll see. It's great, so you won't have to worry about it. Okay. Alright, so that's one. And now I'll do the second one. So these came out quite good, I think, considering I almost messed them up by being impatient and not letting them dry before I did the back, but that's all right. It's worked all right. All right, so there you have it. There's your two cards are done. All right. So now I'm going to get some of the Distress ink. My go-to, as you know, if you've watched any of my other videos, is Vintage Photo. And I'm just going to put some of that on the edge here. Already you can see what a difference it's making to have that on. I tend to be quite heavy-handed with the inking. I like it. I like to use a lot. Here I've missed a bit. You can see it better now with the oops. Now that the ink's on, I think I cut into the card there a little bit, but it doesn't matter. Handmade. It's not going to be perfect. All right, so there's one. This one's just come off the back there a little bit, so I'll just put some more glue on there, just to make sure it's sealed. There we go. And I like to do both sides, actually, because I use them as journal cards and they're going to be sort of taken out of pockets. But if you want to keep it like that and just stick it on your journal, you don't even have to do the step with the back. You don't have to stick anything on the back at all. Or some people might prefer just to leave it and have the card backings, the one what they look like, which is that. So some people may prefer to have that on the back. I just like to have the coffee stained look. I think it looks great. Okay, and I'll just do the back of this one. So you can see the difference when you don't do the back. You got one or the other. The light is getting away from me now, so I'm trying to work quickly so that I don't lose the light tonight, because it's getting a bit darker now. Okay, so we have two more of these altered playing cards using tissue paper and stamps. So have a look and see what you think. Here's the other two that I've just made. I think I like them better when they have lighter print, and as you can see, they work better on less busy backgrounds. This was too dark. This is way too much going on, I think, for me. I don't really like that. But someone else may prefer that sort of look. This little end bit's not coming off for some reason. This way you just use a corner rounder. That one's okay, but you can see because there's so much going on that card, again, it doesn't look as good as it could. But there you go. There's my take on making some altered playing cards using something as simple as tissue paper and stamps. And make sure that you use the waterproof ink. However, I will point out that even though I did use the waterproof ink, you can see here that it has smudged a little bit in some places. This one has smudged a little bit, but not too badly. And this one has smudged in the edges here. So it does still smudge, even though it does say it's waterproof, but something to keep in mind. But if I had to say, I think they look okay. Something that you might want to try and see how you go. And hopefully I've inspired you to give something new a go. Thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Bye.